Hi guys, so here is a little bit of a tutorial on what you can be working on for your handstand push-ups ready for coming back into the box. And ultimately handstand push-ups is one of the things that you can do quite a lot of at home if you've got relatively high ceilings. I'm 5'10", I can quite easily handstand push-up in my living room. But ultimately there are some other things that you can be doing ready for kind of progressions. So if it is freezing outside, etc., etc. One of the common issues I see in handstand push-ups is hand positioning and also head positioning. Now, one of the things that you can work on with regards to your stability overhead or your stability upside down is actually a headstand. So if you haven't mastered a headstand, that is something that you can actually practice just on the wall. I'm going to show you that in a second. But ultimately, there are a few different hand positions that you can try that will hopefully help you depending on what your shoulder mobility is like and where your strength is like. I personally, being as tall as I am and having relatively long arms and not fantastic shoulder mobility, I find that actually having my hands slightly outturned when I'm handstand push-upping actually gives me a little bit more room. It's a little bit like when you're in a squat position and you turn your feet out. It's the same sort of thing. It gives your hips a little bit more room. So the first thing you can try is actually having your hands slightly outturned. The other thing to think about is widening your hands. With the handstand push-up standard, usually the standard is that you have 36 inches wide. Now that for most people is more than enough. What you're probably finding if you're struggling or you feel quite enclosed, like you can't push through the handstand push-up, is your hands are too narrow. So try just widening them slightly, have a look on the floor and actually position them before you kick up. So I'm going to show you a couple of things now. I'm going to show you kicking up into your handstand and lowering. I'm also going to show you one of the ways that you can actually sort of put your hands down, change your hands and then kick up. Okay? So my hands, first and foremost, I'm going to move all this crap out of the way. I'm going to put my hands slightly turned out, so this is what they're going to be like on the floor, and all I'm going to do is put my head down and then I'm just going to use my feet, walk them up and then kick up into my headstand. Okay, now from this position, if this is comfortable for you, fantastic. Hold it there and just practice holding the handstand tight position. The other thing you can practice is popping your bum on the wall and coming back up. On the wall and coming back up. Now, as you drive from the wall, so from here to here, what I want you to practice is squeezing your glutes. So from here, squeeze. Here, squeeze. What that's going to help is when people bring their knees down with a handstand push-up and kick up, what they tend to do is they kick up and they're not under tension. What happens in that scenario is you come off the wall or you end up going away from the wall, and then ultimately, because you are trying to push in this direction, it's a little bit like trying to push press or push jerk, doing that with the bar. So one of the things you can practice is being upside down in that position and just pushing your bum to the wall. And then when you come away from the wall into that handstand or headstand position, you're going to squeeze your bum cheeks together. That's in the headstand position. What that looks like in the handstand position, again, turn those hands out slightly, play around with it. I like to be roughly 1.5 foot away from the wall. That is optimum because of my height. You might find that you want to be slightly closer, but you shouldn't be any closer than 1 foot away from the wall. If you're that close, you're not going to have that space and that room So you're ultimately always going to fall off the wall. So hands down, kick up, same thing again. Push to the wall and squeeze. Push to the wall and squeeze. Push to the wall and squeeze. Now you'll notice in the handstand position, or you might not notice because the angle, I'm not actually able to get my bum to the wall because of my shoulder mobility. So it's actually quite a good drill for shoulder mobility anyway, and getting your arms through on toes to bar, pull-ups, etc. But it's the same principle when I come away from the wall. If I don't squeeze my glutes, I'm going to fall off the wall, and I'll show you what that looks like. Whoop. Squeeze, not squeeze. Okay, so those are 2 drills that you can practice to just work on positioning. I'll do a couple more videos that will show you how to work on the actual kip in the handstand, but until you can feel that squeezed position in the headstand, you're going to struggle with the handstand, and until you can feel that squeezing position and that tension in the handstand, you're going to struggle to be able to kick up and use momentum from the kip to get your handstand push up. Okay, so work on the headstand, moving away from the wall, squeezing, creating the tension, and then move to the handstand position, and then we can start to work on the kip.